pick,
Oh my gosh. Wow.
negotiate,
800 bucks.
900.
850.
close.
Are we doing it? It's a deal.
All right, score.
Flying across the field feeling like that guy did in 1937.
They're the masters of the art of picking.
That's the kind of stuff you dream about.
Most of the time.
I'm gonna give you $600. Nope.
American pickers alum Frank Fritz's customers have been disappointed over the store's underwhelming items as the antique shop has struggled after his death. Frank passed away on September 30th at 60 years old, 2 years after he suffered a stroke that left him debilitated and under a conservatorship and guardianship. Frank owned Frank Fritz Finds in Savannah, Illinois, as the store remains running today thanks to his friend Jerry Gendreau. Customers have expressed their disappointment over the antique store in the months following Frank's tragic passing. One shopper expressed, "Had Frank's health been better, I'm sure he would have done more with the store. R.I.P. Buddy." A second commented, "If you're going to this store to try to find something cool, choose another place. The antique section is small and is very underwhelming." But others enjoyed their experience at the antique shop, as another shopper praised, "Very cool place to see this place. Lots of old collectibles to buy. Very impressive along the main road in Savannah. Highly recommended." Another said, "Very impressive store with lots to see and lots to offer." In exclusive photos obtained by the U.S. Sun, the store consists of just 2 rooms in the back of Hog Dog's bar. Antiques in the store are considered smalls, compared to his former co-star Mike Wolfe's expensive finds worth thousands. In Frank's shop, a duplex electric company antique goes for $400. A horse plaque is $35, while oil cans signed by Frank go for the same price. An antique cash register could be a customer's for just $30. After Frank's death, his friend Jerry previously told the U.S. Sun his plans to revamp the store in honor of his friend. Jerry told the U.S. Sun in October 2024, "We have been an antique store for 35 years. We'll probably continue to be that. We may display motorcycles and choppers that represent Frank. Right now it's set up as an 1880s general store. Maybe there'll be bikes on a rack all the way down the center. We're trying to contemplate what other people want me to do." Store struggles. The shop has struggled in recent years, as the U.S. Sun previously reported estimated annual sales are just $25,000 per Experience Business Valuation Report. Exclusive photos obtained by the U.S. Sun also reveal the conditions of the store. Thick spiderwebs could be seen in the corner of the store with bugs trapped in the silk in one photo. Dust, dirt, and dead leaves could be seen on the rundown floorboards. There were also holes in the uneven floor paneling, and paint chips were curling off the ceiling. Despite the dim lighting in the shop, dust was still visible and gathering on many of the items displayed. Frank wasn't as involved in the store after his stroke in July 2022 at his Davenport, Iowa home. Frank's friends filed an emergency appointment of a temporary guardian and conservator for the store on August 18, 2022. They claimed his decision-making capacity was so impaired from the stroke. The conservatorship papers obtained by the U.S. Sun revealed plans for the store in the years after the stroke. The initial plan filed by conservator Midwest One Bank read, "Mr. Fritz is a well-known collector and has numerous outbuildings full of valuable collections. The conservator has not yet inventoried those items, but plans to leave them largely as they are now, with the exception of stocking Mr. Fritz's antique store in Savannah, Illinois as needed. Conservator is hopeful Frank will be able to participate in selection and pricing of items as he did previously." Health struggles. The stroke left Frank wheelchair-bound. As a source previously told the U.S. Sun in August 2023, he can walk, but he's always going to need the wheelchair because he can't walk long distances. Basically, you lose motion. He lost motion. A stroke can affect your left or your right side. It affected his right side. Jerry previously gave insight into Frank's health struggles in his final moments. He said he felt really bad. You would go to see him in the nursing home, and one half of his body was completely done. He would lift his arm up, and it would just drop. That's got to be tough to be totally bedridden. Jerry explained how Frank grew frustrated because he couldn't come out and say what he wanted to say. Jerry said, "I've seen this when people get tired, they get tired. I think if you don't have the will to live, you won't. I think Frank could have lived a lot longer if the will to live would have been there. Funeral plans. Jerry previously told the U.S. Sun how loved ones will say goodbye and honor the star's final wish. He said this was his will. He wanted to come on the back of a motorcycle or a sidecar with his ashes in an urn with a big ride and go back to the Quad Cities. Frank's final ride through the Quad Cities, which is a region of 4 cities in Iowa and Illinois, would take place in the spring of 2025. But the memorial has been put on pause, as his father, Bill Fritz, is challenging the will. While an Iowa judge approved Frank's will prior to death to safekeep the document before his passing, his dad is demanding his late son's entire estate. A source told the U.S. Sun his close motorcycle family planned a motorcycle run that includes riding Frank's ashes to Savannah, Illinois, where his longtime friend Jerry runs his antique store. They plan to have live music, possibly blocking off streets. That is all for now, but they do have plans for more. His friends were in the process of planning the memorial when his dad challenged the will. The insider claimed Frank is the one who wanted a grand celebration with his friends, as they know all of his wishes for a celebration of life. The source added, his father did not know what his son wanted. Bill told the U.S. Sun of the court battle. It is a fake will. He did not have a will. He did not sign it. I am his only loved one. I am his only survivor. None of them are related to him. I am the only relation he has. All the others are trying to get money. They are nothing but people who worked for him. But one of Frank's friends pushed back to the U.S. Sun. His father had very little to do with Frank. He only came to see Frank once when he suffered the stroke. The insider maintained that the will is valid, despite Bill's claims. Frank Fritz, the beloved co-host of American Pickers, left behind a legacy of treasure hunting, sharp wit, and an undeniable passion for antiques. But since his tragic passing in July 2024, his Iowa-based antique shop, Frank Fritz Finds, has faced growing criticism from disappointed shoppers who call the store's offerings underwhelming, and a far cry from the eclectic, high-energy picks Fritz was known for on TV. As loyal fans and curious visitors continue to flock to the shop, now managed by a small team of Frank's associates, many are walking away unimpressed, questioning whether the store can survive without its namesake star. A storied past meets an uncertain future. For years, Frank Fritz Finds in Savannah, Illinois, later relocated to Iowa, was a must-visit destination for American Pickers fans. The store was an extension of Fritz's personality, packed with oddities, vintage signage, rare motorcycles, and Americana that reflected his sharp eye for hidden gems. American Pickers star Mike Wolfe has marked up a 1947 pinball machine by 115% after claims from customers that his antiques are overpriced. Mike, 60, stars on American Pickers, where he travels across the country to find antiques to sell in his Eau Claire, Iowa, and Nashville, Tennessee stores. Mike has recently come under fire from his antique archaeology customers for pricing items too high at both locations. The U.S. Sun can exclusively reveal the high markups and the hefty profit Mike is set to score. On an episode of American Pickers, Mike offered $700 for a 1947 Humpty pinball machine. He said on the show, in 1947, this machine came out and introduced the flipper. Not just 2, but 6. The subject matter is interesting. It's Humpty Dumpty, but the adult version of that, what would be expected, is peeling, pretty aggressively through here. But overall, it's not bad. Mike then admitted the value of the machine isn't much. The historic value of this machine outweighs the actual value. When you think of how pivotal this machine was for collectors as far as the evolution of pinball, this machine doesn't command a lot of money. But still, this is the great-great-grandpappy of Pinball Wizard. Mike offered $700, as the collector responded with $750. They ultimately agreed to keep the price at $700. In January, Antique Archaeology added the antique to their Eau Claire, Iowa store with a price of $1,500. This is a 115% markup. The machine has been restored and is in better condition from when Mike purchased it on the episode. Fans were shocked over the price, as they even believed the offer of $700 to the seller was too high. One fan wrote on social media, When he said $700, my jaw hit the floor. In great condition, it's only worth about $700. A second commented, got ripped, back glass is roached, cabinet repainted, and wood rails are not desirable. I wouldn't have paid $50 and I've been in the hobby for decades. A third replied, as a pinball collector, $700 was a great deal for the seller. That game is hammered and has a painted cabinet. After going on sale in January 2025, the item remains available for purchase today. The US Sun can also reveal another item that has been heavily marked up. Mike bought a Royal Crown scale for $3,200 that came from Jeff Stork's collection in Virginia and is the biggest scale pick of the series. Mike has the item listed in his LeClaire, Iowa store for $4,500, a 40% increase. The US Sun previously reported customers of Mike's Iowa antique store criticized the shop for its overpriced items. One customer wrote, "Place is way overrated and overpriced. Highly recommended to stay away from this place." A second fumed, "Overpriced items they found at estate sales that they dust off and then charge 3x the price. And that's most stores." A third commented, "Super fun place. We arrived 6 minutes before close and the two ladies were in no hurry to move us along. If you are a fan of the show, you will see many items that have been on the show. It is interesting the price picked is way different than their sale price. Of course they need to make a profit, but jeepers. Ended up buying some stuff, but wished I could have bought more. Great place to shop and some unique items. Go." Inside Antique Archaeology. The US Sun obtained exclusive photos of the store's most expensive items. In addition to a Royal Crown scale for $4,500, a Dr. Pepper cooler is $2,700. A Drink Uptown sign hung on the wall of the store is $1,800. A dog statue could run a customer $900. A Whippet motor oil can is $595. Similar cans being sold online go for just $175. Mike has also faced similar criticism with his Nashville, Tennessee store over the price of the items. Show struggle. Mike's high prices come as American Pickers has struggled with low ratings for season 26. The October 9th premiere had 565,000 viewers tune in as Mike picked through Evel Knievel memorabilia. The finale on January 15th was the second highest-rated episode of the season with 708,000 viewers. The highest-rated episode reached 760,000 viewers on December 18th. DIY DeLorean on October 30th had the lowest ratings of the season with just 442,000 viewers. Ratings were over 1 million viewers when fan-favorite co-star Frank Fritz was on the series. Frank died on September 30th, 2024 at age 60, 2 years after he suffered a debilitating stroke. Frank last appeared on American Pickers in March 2020. The US Sun reported in May 2024 that the series has 3 more seasons left in its contract. The show began filming new episodes in February 2025. In addition to the stores, Mike is the owner of multiple businesses and landlord of properties. The Iowa Antique Store is across the street from his new vacation rental 2 Lanes guest house. The home will be available for rent in April after a months-long delay. He also has a rental in Columbia. "I drove 4 hours to see the shop, and it just felt empty," one Yelp reviewer wrote. "No cool stories, no wild finds like on the show. Just a lot of overpriced junk. Where's the picking spirit?" Part of the appeal of American Pickers was Frank and co-host Mike Wolfe's knack for uncovering rare items with fascinating histories. Fritz's shop once mirrored that energy with ever-changing inventory and the chance to meet the man himself. Now, shoppers say the store feels stagnant. "It's like walking into a museum where nothing new ever comes in," one customer lamented on Facebook. Frank had the eye for the weird and wonderful. Without him, it's just another antique mall. Employees have acknowledged the struggle, telling local media that securing high-quality finds has been difficult since Fritz's death. Frank had connections everywhere: barns, basements, old collectors no one else knew, a staff member said. "We're doing our best, but it's not the same." Fan loyalty versus fading hype. Despite the criticism, die-hard fans still visit the shop as a tribute to Fritz's memory. Some buy small items just to own a piece of his legacy. But even they admit the excitement is gone. "I bought an old gas sign just because Frank's name was on the receipt," one customer said. But honestly, the place needs a major refresh. Others speculate that without Fritz's star power, the shop may not last much longer. Antique stores thrive on personality, an industry expert noted. Frank was the personality. Without him, it's just another store. Could the shop be saved? Some fans have suggested that Mike Wolfe or other American Pickers stars step in to revitalize the shop, perhaps turning it into a tribute space with rotating exhibits of Frank's best picks. Others believe a new, passionate owner with Fritz's same zeal for hunting could breathe life back into the business. For now, though, Frank Fritz finds remains open, a bittersweet reminder of what once was and what could have been. As one longtime fan put it, Frank made junk look like gold. Now, without him, it's just junk. Final thoughts. Frank Fritz's legacy as a picker, collector, and TV personality is undeniable. But as his shop struggles to find its footing without him, fans are left wondering if the magic can ever be recaptured, or if Frank Fritz finds will become just another relic of the past.